you ever tried Full Sail or?
No, and we knew them, but we always thought they were stuck up, and so I didn't even try Full Sail. But they're one of the better programs. At least like they get people out there. But really, the big schools, if you want to do this, and they're expensive and hard to get into, are USC, which is in California, the Trojans, UCLA, which is also in LA. FSU has a really good program, and a lot of my teachers came out of FSU, and NYU. And then in LA, there's also AFI. And pretty much those are like the 5 film programs where you have a stronger chance because so many of them end up in the industry and then everyone helps each other. Because that's the thing is, it's not just what you do, it's who you know and who wants to help you. You know, I've seen it time and again. Every chance I've gotten has always been because someone put their neck out and recommended me. I've never actually gone to someone and said, can you give me a job, and gotten that job. It's always been, hey, your friend in Miami told James Franco about you, and now he wants to work with you. Or someone else told these people at Sony that you wrote this really good script, and now they want to hire you to write a movie for them. Even moving out there, someone in LA will read your script, and if they like it, they'll give it to other people. Even the jobs I've had out there, like the retail jobs and just the teaching jobs, everything has been because someone helped me. And that's probably what it'll be like for you. So, you know, just be good to your friends and, you know, try not to be too bad to everyone else. So that's kind of the long version of the 1. 2 is just, you know, really, it's about passion and just like stick to it. You know, it doesn't have to be writing, whatever you're into. Like, you'll look back later, and even if you haven't made it as big, like I thought I would be a millionaire, Oscar-winning director by now, but I don't regret any of it. You know, maybe having the writing partner, that might be like the one part. But I really like am glad I've done it, because even if we go broke next month, and it's always a high wire act, you know, me and my wife still, the fiance, we're still married, and like it's always a fight for us just to keep existing. We have a nice life, but we don't know how long that'll last. I can't say like I'm gonna stay in the apartment I live in till the end of the year, you know. So it's always like that. But even if worst case scenario in the world, I had to come back and move in with my mom and hope to keep my marriage together, I would know that it had been worth it to follow that dream I had for however long. Yeah, so, you know, that's really what I wanted to say to you guys. Just don't lose your passion, whatever it is.
Yeah, from what I read, Leonardo da Vinci was the same way. He never was on a regular sleeping schedule. He would work until he was tired, take a 2-hour nap, get up, work until he was tired, take a nap. So he didn't do the traditional 1/3 of your life, you know, sleeping for 7 hours. He would just sleep.
It works. I think like for many years, all I would do is I was trying to basically break into the industry. Was I would work a regular job, 8 hours, with different shifts. That could be like a morning shift or midday shift or a really late night shift where you get off of work like at 11:30. And I'd go home and I'd eat dinner and then I'd write. And my wife just knew, and she's incredible. Like a lot of this is also because of my wife, because she supported me emotionally and sometimes financially. We both kind of have helped each other that way. But the patience of a woman to put up with a writer for that many years, really something. So I would write when I wasn't working. So it was really like having 2 jobs. And to some extent, it's still like that. So when I would get like these assignments that would come like, oh, you have like, you know, 3 months to write this. And I knew that the trick is not the first draft, it's how many rewrites you can do. Because it really gets better and better in the rewrites. That's the magic. So, you know, everyone sucks in their first draft. And so like, what I would do is I would use my vacation time and I would take like a week off and I would break night and I would just write straight through and just nap. But I would be writing till like 7, 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning, starting at like 10 at night. If I like, then I'd make more coffee. My cats would get frustrated and kind of like walk off. But I would just keep going and then just take naps. And I would finish drafts, like the Guns N' Roses script, I wrote 114 pages in 11 days.
Wow.
And then because the trick was, and this is the winners of the contest, this is how I coached them.
Okay.
Said, write the worst possible draft you can. Give yourself permission to write the worst thing you can do right at the beginning as fast as you can. And then rewrite the hell out of it. Like over and over again. Print it out and make notes and just keep going over it and over it, every line, every word. And that's really been the trick. So, I had 3 months per my contract to turn in the Guns N' Roses script. And like after that, they might not pay you, they can pull the job. Like all of this is like, there are really specific things like, you must do 2 rewrites for us after we give you notes. You must deliver by this day. The script must be between 90 and 120 pages, or you don't get paid. And I would just use, whatever was left of that, like the 2 months and a half, to just do the rewrite. So by the time they got it, it was like my 10th draft. And what James does when he gets a script is he has all of these actors that he knows do a reading. So they read it out loud and they perform like the whole movie to see like how does it feel, like you get bored while you're hearing it. Because if you get bored while you're hearing it, you're gonna get bored when you're watching it. So they know up front. And they did this reading. He was doing the Stephen King miniseries, and so they did the reading while he was doing that. And then I got a call from him saying like, I can't even say the exact words he said, but it was like because we're really happy, and then he just cursed a lot about how happy he was. So that was probably one of the best feelings, is just to know that I had that in me to crank out that script, and to then know now like I could do it again.
Wow, that's very cool.
I have long answers, I'm sorry.
No, it's good. Other questions that you might have, don't hesitate, because this is it's a good time.
So
to
the show that you were filming that you ran out of money, is it still like getting sent out trying to?
No. What happens is they shoot a lot of shows every year that we never see. We only see about 5% of what they actually shoot. They call them the pilots, but we don't actually see all the pilots. The pilot is like a test. So if it doesn't work for a million different reasons, it could be their favorite show and they're like, it's too expensive, and they don't release it. So ours was a pilot. And James actually had me write the second episode. So we were ready to go. But when we ran out of money, and because he's doing so many things, it wasn't like the one project he was pushing, too much time went by. So the actors, they've done a bunch of stuff. Like a couple of them have been in some really big movies since then. And one of the main characters was this girl. And she was supposed to be in the pilot having her quinceañera. And she's now playing like, like a post-college, person basically, even though it's just a couple years ago. She does not look like a teenager anymore. So we couldn't even try to like shop that now if we wanted. I got to at least come back, and while we were editing, I would just sign onto the website and I could see the different cuts and give them notes. And so I got to have a trip where I came back and all my friends got together and we watched like one of the rough cuts. And that was as satisfying as it could have been, because when I came from New York at first, I was just like the biggest outcast at Bay Harbor Elementary that you would have ever seen. I was like into old movies and the Beatles when it was the most uncool thing to do. All of them would make fun of me. And I used to think I was already into this. I'm like, one day I'm gonna like make movies, I'm gonna come back and they're all gonna see. And and obviously it hasn't totally worked out that way, but it was great to sit with a bunch of them, because I still know most of them. We're having a reunion tomorrow with Stephanie Barrows and all of them.
I know Stephanie. Sure.
Yeah. And so basically like we all got to sit and watch this stuff, and I got to have that moment that I dreamed of since I was sitting like in 5th grade at Bay Harbor. And even without like all the money or the accolades, just like, hey, check out this thing that I made, that I wrote, that I helped pick the actors for, that I was on set every day for. Those are really the things that when you look back, that's what makes it worth it.
Yeah.
Did you also send your scripts to New York too, or just mostly?
Well, they go all over the place, but they really like, LA is like the full hub of the industry. Everyone there is into this stuff. Every place you go, every coffee shop, every restaurant, everyone's talking about it, and everyone's into it. Every waitress is like a writer or an actor. Your valets, they're aspiring directors. Like everybody is obsessed with this stuff. and you meet people that are like in their 70s that have been trying to make it out there since they were in their 20s, and you meet young people that are like fresh off the bus from Mississippi with dreams. Like that is the biggest difference between like say LA and Miami. Is I got there and it was like the energy of the place and how much everyone really cared about this. It makes you more serious. It makes you know you have to hustle. And it's fun at the same time because it creates this culture of the arts. So that everyone's like, oh, we just went and saw that old movie in the theater. You have to see that. And then everyone starts talking about it at the party. And you know, they do these great art exhibits, and there's like constantly filming movies on the streets. So you're always seeing everything. My first day in LA, Harrison Ford rode past me on a bicycle, and I thought I'd lost my mind. And it was because he was riding the bike from his trailer to the film set, and they were shooting something on Hollywood Boulevard. And I was like, I've just been here like 2 hours, and I just saw Han Solo. It was the craziest thing. And that happens all the time. Like you end up like seeing people that you've watched on TV or in movies, or you listen to their music, or you're a fan of theirs. Everyone. I met Garcia Marquez.
Wow.
And I got him to autograph a book for my dad, and I went to pull out a pen for him, and he pulled out a pen, and we were both like holding our pens at each other. And I was like, this is a Nobel Prize winner. It's like the pride of Columbia.
Wow.
So you have all this like crazy stuff that happens, and I think it's why everyone holds on, because most of us are just trying to make it. There are like really rich people there, and they're a small percentage of who's out there, and then everyone else is just fighting to push their dreams forward. And just another week, you know, another day sometimes. My little sister, who's 26, she just moved out to be an actress. And she's getting modeling gigs, and she's been in some videos, and she's starting to get cast in some shorts. And it's just a process, but she's going week to week. She wakes up at 6 in the morning, meditates, and then goes to her acting class, and then goes and does extra work. Pops up on Dr. Phil, and then goes shoots a music video at night. And then she wakes up again at 6 in the morning to meditate.
Wow.
So that's, you know, so yeah, New York is like my love, like it's still in a certain way my home, but not much of the industry happens there, although that doesn't mean it would be wrong for someone who wanted to break in to go to New York, because New York is different than LA in the sense that it's more independent. So if you look at like the history of film and how it got to where it is now, a lot of the best people have actually come out of New York because they have more freedom. So they did something with their friends and said, you know what, I don't need Hollywood, and I don't care if I'm ever rich, and I'm just gonna like make a movie about the people in my neighborhood and our stories. And that's how you end up with directors like Scorsese or the Coen brothers or Stanley Kubrick or all these people that have come, Oliver Stone and Spike Lee. Like they just started on their own. LA is like a machine that kind of tries to like eat us as it takes what it needs and then kind of just craps us out. And that's how it is. I know you're hearing, because you're from your daughter probably too.
Yeah, I do.
But, you know, some of us still go out there and try anyway because we're masochists.
Wow.
So we like punishment. But yeah, like LA, if it wasn't so cold, I might live in New York. But I don't know if I can handle it anymore after all the time in Miami and LA. And my wife definitely can't handle it. She's like, I'm a tropical flower. I'm not going anywhere.